Welcome. So here's the thing, we know a lot. We have information that is available to us if we just do a quick search, right? We can find information. A lot of times we have bought the books, we have attended the seminars and the webinars, and we have talked about it until we are blue in the face. We could actually probably teach some things, but until we actually put them into practice, it does not matter. When I was getting my second yoga certification, there were lots of requirements. I had to sit through classes, I had to take tests. But what they wanted to give me that certification, to complete that certification, I had to send them tons and tons of me actually teaching the practice. And that's what it is. It is a practice. And so, through my many years of practicing and teaching yoga, what I have found is that it's the doing of it that makes the change. It's the doing of it that makes the transformation. So, you can know a lot of things, but until you actually put them into practice, there will be no transformation. So I want us to think about movement, and I want us to think about moving in ways where we are seeing the results. For a while, I don't know if it was the way I was sleeping, if it was that I needed a new mattress, or whatever it was, but even though I was mostly physically active, I was waking up with side and back pain. And so what I was doing was I was getting up. And I don't know how y'all feel about twerking because I don't think that's exactly what I was doing, but I was shaking my behind so that it could release what was there. We have a lymphatic system, and the lymphatic system needs movement in order to be activated, right? It'll drain all the impurities out of our bodies, but actually, movement is what will start to activate it. I don't know that I had connected all those dots at the time, but I can tell you from just a couple of minutes of that shaking, released that pressure in my side and in my back. So even though we might not understand what's happening on a scientific level, we know when things feel better. And so sometimes we have to go through something and not around it, right? We have to actually apply the movement, apply the action to it, and go through it. And I think that's the challenging part, right? Because we don't want to go through. We want to have a quick fix. So we got to learn how to process and go through and not around. Through, if we're having challenges, if we're having challenges, or if we're having difficult feelings, right? So it's not like we're pretending that we don't have stressors, particularly living as Black women, living as Black folk, living as women in a racialized society. We are all affected by that. So we're learning how to move through our experiences without completely being taken over by them. Because if we get completely taken over, I don't know about you, but I can't move when I am so overwhelmed with what's going on. I become stagnant. And when we become stagnant, we can't change anything, uh, let alone ourselves and the rest of the world. I do want to talk about weathering. I don't know if you've ever heard the term, but it is the cumulative impact that chronic stress, including racial stress, can have on the body. there are some studies out there that talk about Black women versus white women and how inside, because we always talk about how Black don't crack, but on the inside it does. We are 7 years older in our bodies than our white counterparts. And so I don't want to come on here making a statement that if you just do these things, life will be peachy, everything will be fine. No, unfortunately, life is going to life, right? And we can't control what's going on externally, but we can begin to control what goes on internally. So, having said all of that, I want to share some really easy, what I think are easy practices for you to do. So let's move, right? Let's put it into practice. And so you don't need any special clothing. You don't need a mat. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to get up. I'm going to stay seated because I want to show you that you can do these things seated. Although I do recommend standing if you're able, particularly for some of the movements that I'll do. But they can completely be done from a seated position. You don't need to be flexible. I really just need you to move a little and breathe. So, the first practice I want to share is shaking it out. And I talked about that a little bit with that pain in my side and how I was shaking my tush out. No, not really a twerk, but whatever. Twerking, I see the benefits of it. I do. Let's start by having a little fun and just begin shaking the arms out. You can move them together from side to side, or you can just really shake. You could do one arm at a time and just shake it out. You can shake the shoulders, get your shimmy on. And then if you're standing, you can shake the legs. But even if you're sitting, you can shake the legs out, right? You can shake the legs out. And yeah, your voice should kind of start sounding like that as you're moving all these shakes with your shoulders as well. And yes, I know it looks kind of silly, but stop. What do you feel? I feel a little lighter. Makes me want to take a deep breath, which is going to open up my chest area, right? Allow me to relax my shoulders, allow me to notice where there may have been tension and where it may be gone now. Gentle, rhythmic movements can bring body awareness. It can interrupt muscular bracing, like we're bracing for something, and it can create an atmosphere to get us unstuck. To get us unstuck. So I want to focus now with another practice on the shoulders. And we carry a lot. We carry a lot. I want you to continually notice when your shoulders are lifting towards your ears, and I want you to think consciously about pulling them away from your ears. And if we can do that with breath, even better. So we're going to lift our shoulders on an inhale. And then on the exhale, we're going to pull the shoulders down the back. So ready? Inhale, lift shoulders toward the ears. Breathe in deeply. On the exhale, draw the shoulders down the back. So lift and hold, if you can, at the top of that inhale. And then on the exhale, pull the shoulders down the back, right? Let's do it a few more times and think about the breath guiding the move. So as the inhale starts, you're pulling the shoulders up to the ears, holding if you can. And on the exhale, draw the shoulders down the back. Let's do a couple more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, pulling shoulders down the back. One more. Lift the shoulders toward the ears. And then draw the shoulders down the back. And do it one more time. And when you drop the shoulders this time, think of dropping something that you don't need to carry today. Inhale, lift shoulders to the ears. Hold, think that thought, and then drop whatever is not serving you today. Is it a thought? Is it a concern or a worry that you've been carrying that may not even come true? So just for today, drop it. I did a offering, and I did some body tapping where I took us through all the different tapping stations. But tapping can also work if you're just doing it on a few parts of the body. So we'll begin by just tapping up and down the arm. And as you're tapping, choose an affirmation or a mantra. It can be a single positive word, it can be a phrase, poem, scripture, even a prayer, right? So maybe it's real simple. I am here. Present moment awareness. If you're doing one arm, try to switch and do the opposite arm. Maybe you say, I can listen to myself. I can listen to my body. Maybe tap the shoulders. I don't have to carry everything for everybody. I can let it go. Now maybe tap on the chest. Make sure you're breathing. Maybe you even move to over the heart. And this is one of my favorite affirmations, to look in the mirror and simply say, I love you. If we don't love ourselves, we can't expect others to love us, right? I give love freely. Notice what's happening in the body. And then maybe take it down to the thighs, tap on the thighs. Some of the biggest muscles in the body that carry us from place to place. I am grateful for the strength in my legs. I am grateful for the strength in my thighs. I am grateful. Now, simply just stop. Maybe close your eyes. Notice. Notice what's going on in the body. Notice how you feel. When I first started practicing yoga, before I even thought about teaching, I think I was practicing maybe 1 or 2 times a week. And my family members would know if I didn't practice yoga because I would be a little more irritable. And they would say, when you gonna go to yoga again? When you gonna get to class again? And so I started really noticing how I felt after a practice. So I'm a big, big proponent of journaling. It is a window to help you understand who you are, who you want to be, and what next steps you might need to take in order to get there. So I started journaling. And I noticed that the days that I didn't practice, those are the days when I might get a headache. I might be more likely to snap at someone. Over time, I also realized how important not just the physical practice of yoga, but the beginning and the end of class were, because that's where I got to meditate. I got to listen. I got to focus in. That's why I do a body scan, which is also another great somatic tool that you can use. You can start from the soles of your feet, or the crown of your head, and just in your mind's eye, visualize going down through the body. And as you visualize, maybe think of releasing and letting go, maybe just 10% more than where you were when you started. It is an amazing practice, and one, again, that I use in almost every class that I teach. So I think the magic happens after the practice, after you start noticing what a response is versus a reaction. The goal isn't to never get upset, because that's just really not realistic. The goal is to be the best that we can in any given moment, right? Because who do we know that doesn't get irritated by some things? Hopefully that begins to lessen so you can move into more of a creative state where you can visualize and imagine and problem solve. But we're human, y'all, right? Things are going to happen. People are going to test you. Maybe there's an area of growth that you need to find. And so that person, that's how I have begun to think about it. Like when something, putting the air quotes around it that I deem negative, I really know now that's just a lesson. It's just showing me something that I needed to learn about me. So I breathe, I maybe plant my feet, because we can change that, right? Yes, life is going to life, absolutely. But we can literally begin to change how we react to whatever those situations are. And we can begin to see them differently. So every lesson I have learned is a blessing. And it may not feel like it at the time. I may feel like screaming at the time. And sometimes I will scream. If I really feel like I need to scream, I will scream to get that release. I think that's another practice, right? So these practices, I want you to think about the ones that you're most likely to use and then be consistent about that. Maybe it's a practice for breath. And one of my favorite breaths is taking a deep inhale. If you can, hold it at the top and then release it for longer. So the exhale is longer. That immediately speaks to the body, speaks to the nervous system, and puts us in a rest and digest mode. So if you're activated, that's one of the best tools that you have, and it's available to you. It's inside your body, the breath. So don't force it. You can breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the nose if you're trying to build up heat in the body. That's the breath that we use in yoga, because once we heat up the inside of the body, it makes it safer to get in and out of the poses, to do the poses, right? It's like heating up metal makes it more pliable. The same way, if you feel heated though, then you want to breathe in through the nose and you want to release it through the mouth, right? That'll cool the body down as well as calm the nervous system down. There's no right way to practice. There's no right way for your face to look. I think we have to know that sometimes this is quiet work that nobody else sees, right? So I try to look decent for y'all. I try to color coordinate even while I'm in between like hairstyles. But you don't have to do any of that in the safety and the comfort of your own home. If you're here, subscribe to my channel, like, share this video. I just want us to have tools that are available to move us from glory to glory. I think that is what God intended for our lives. And we continue, as long as we're here, to grow and to expand and to help one another and to help ourselves. One of the other practices that you can always do if you're feeling irritated, if you're feeling stressed, um, is just to orient. That's what I'm doing right now. I have things here that I like to look at, right? There's a window in front of me with a plant that's growing and has been growing for the last couple of years. That is a miracle, y'all. I'm not, or I'm going to pull that back. I have not been a plant person. I used to have plants that would neither die nor grow. But this one has not only grown, but it has also flowered at least 3 or 4 times. I'm waiting patiently for it to flower again because it's so beautiful. So find things to look around that you notice and hopefully can appreciate. Even if you can't appreciate them, just naming the things that are around you can help you orient into the present moment, right? Feeling whatever is beneath you that is supporting you, maybe pressing those feet into the earth. This is the practice of being present, right? This can also serve as a pivot. If your mind is going into a worrying place or a place that you don't need, if you're ruminating, you can come back to naming what is right in your space. So find that practice that you can do so that your nervous system can learn a way through and not around. Because when we skip the going through, I believe for me, I have noticed it takes longer to dig that thing out because we continue to bury what's inside if we don't work through it. I think power is in the ability to not react, but to respond. There's more power in that. You start to trust yourself to know what to do and how to do it. And I think that is so huge because self trust is built decision by decision. And it's not always about making the perfect decision because we're not always going to do that. But everything will be okay. Everything is that blessing of learning, and learning ourselves is the biggest gift that we can give to ourselves. I think it's about being with ourselves and staying with ourselves when life gets hard. I think it's about taking care of ourselves. And it's not just about self care, right? I believe that when we take care of ourselves, that we are creating the capacity and the conditions that turn into our purpose, that lead us to exploring our gifts more, that lead us to more of that creativity. And maybe it's your life's work, but you got to figure that thing out. Maybe it's your next idea. I think we become a better, or maybe how I want to say this, we're better at becoming a vessel for what we're here, what we're placed on this earth to do, right? And when we can fill ourselves up, right? If we think of a vessel and filling ourselves up, these are some of the ways that we can fill ourselves up. And we don't want to wait to fill ourselves up until we're on empty, right? When we see our gas tank, getting to about a quarter tank, oh, we need to go fill up. And some of these tools that I've just shared are ways that you can begin to fill your vessel, fill your cup, fill up, right? This is overused, but I still love it. You can't pour from an empty cup. You got to fill your cup up first. And I think one of my friends on Facebook, she always says, um, I'm pouring from the overflow, from that. You got your teacup and you got the little plate underneath. So let your life overflow so that you're giving from the overflow, from the little cup under the teacup. That's not how you say it, but y'all get what I mean. And I also want to talk a little bit here about consistency. Consistency is kind of something that crept up on me. I'm not the person who thinks about what they're doing, which is why I always have to write down when I ask you all to subscribe and to like and to share. That's not that's not ever top of mind for me because I'm more of a doer, right? And so consistency crept up on me because I just kept doing and not thinking about what I was doing, right? So I say this all the time. I sort of tricked myself into a consistent practice by becoming the teacher. Teacher has to show up. And so consistency doesn't have to look perfect. Consistency can be 5 minutes a day, like shaking it out, y'all, rubbing it, wiping it off, whatever was on you for the day. This is another one. Shake it and brush it off. Get it off you. That's another practice. You can meditate. I suggest at least 10 minutes, but if you can only tweak out 2 or 3 minutes, good. I think on my watch, it even has something called a mindful minute where we are breathing and releasing and noticing. And it doesn't have to be perfect, right? You don't have to do yoga 7 times a week. I notice now, as you begin to build, you will start to feel like you need it more and more. So I try to do something on my mat every day. Is it an hour every day? Absolutely not. Teaching has been the most wonderful thing. My classes start back up in September after the holiday. My schedule will go up soon. Thejoyyoga.com is where you can find me. And finally, your wellness routine doesn't have to be perfect. It does need to be consistent. And I want you to think of it as like maintenance. Again, like taking care of your car. It needs maintenance, right? So you go in for those checkups and you don't shame it. You just say, "Oh, I need a little tune up right now. I need some maintenance." And you maintain it. You keep filling it up. As you feel you're getting low, you keep filling it up. You keep checking in on you, right? Because your body deserves that same type of attention. It really, really does. Showing up for yourself is self love. And coming back is self love. You stop practicing, come back. You stop meditating, that's okay. Come back. You got overwhelmed, come back. You reacted to something in a way you wish you hadn't. Next time you'll do better. Come back. That is the practice. It is a practice. So think about making some kind of commitment to yourself. How often? And be real about it. Like I think in January, everybody has all of these lofty goals about how they can go to the gym every day. Uh, Folks that really live in the gym, I think they try to avoid the gym in January because it's so packed, because people have made these New Year's resolutions and then they wear themselves out. So commit to one thing that was easy for you. It could be taking a deep breath before you answer an email. It could be a 5-minute walk and then focus on breath. It could be a conscious breath before picking up the phone or making a phone call. Maybe it's stretching before bed or first thing in the morning. Maybe it's just lying flat on your back and doing a body scan. Maybe it's a restorative practice. You can make it small, but make it repeatable, make it realistic, make it something that you're going to do so that it becomes real to you. You know how. You see the videos, you see the Instagrams, you see the YouTubes, you know how. You've watched, you've read, you've done all the things. Now you got to practice it. It can no longer stay in theory mode, things that you know up here but don't know in the body. We know enough. We know we need to rest. We know we need to breathe. We know we need to set real boundaries. We know we must listen to our bodies. We know sometimes that we need to slow down. Now it's time to put it into practice. Not perfectly. Nobody else even needs to know or see about it unless you need an accountability partner, which is not a bad thing. Somebody who's not going to judge you, though. Somebody that's not going to make you feel bad when you don't do something. But somebody who can just check in on you. Hey, I know you said you were going to do X, Y, and Z. Did you get a chance to do it? Maybe you can do it before bed if you didn't do it in the morning. I'm talking too much today. Make that commitment to yourself. So maybe write this down. Excuse me. What are your next steps? What is one practice you are willing to return to? What is your body asking from you? What does your body need for you to do? Where do you need to stop reacting to create more space to respond? Can you not jump up when somebody else is having an emergency that you know you can fix? Can you let that breathe for a minute to see if they can work it out for themselves? Because here's the other thing I'll tell you. When we are in the practice of saving folks, they get used to us saving them. And then they don't learn the tools that they need to learn to be self sufficient. So think about that. Think about that. I am that type of person that likes to respond quickly, to take care of things quickly. But I've learned to ask myself a few questions in the process. Is this for you to do, or is this for someone else to do in this moment, in this time? Let it breathe. Let it marinate. That's what I call it. Let it marinate. After every one of my mindful Tap in Tuesday mindfulness and meditation sessions, that is my charge to my audience. To let it marinate, let the experience integrate so that it can become a part of you. So make a commitment. Your body is where you live. It's with you all the time. So take care of home. Take care of home. And don't forget to remember what you already know. Love y'all. Be well.